Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something from the bottom of my heart. Success is not about luck. It's about showing up every single day. Now, I know some days you don't feel like it. Some days your body's tired, your spirit's weak, your mind says not today. But let me tell you the truth, those are the exact days that matter the most. Discipline is the foundation of success. Your feelings don't decide your future, your habits do. Most people think that success is about having talent or waiting for the right time or feeling inspired. But real success, the kind that lasts, doesn't come from how you feel. It comes from what you repeatedly do day in and day out, whether you feel like it or not. The difference between people who win and people who stay stuck isn't intelligence or ability, it's discipline. It's a decision to get up and keep moving forward even when nothing inside you wants to. Every day, life gives you two choices: to stay comfortable or to grow. And the truth is, growth never happens in comfort. It happens in those early mornings when your alarm goes off and you feel like hitting snooze. It happens in those late nights when no one is watching and you're still working. It happens in silence, in sweat, in effort. Discipline is not something you're born with. It's something you build like a muscle. And it starts small. It starts by showing up when you don't want to, by saying no to distractions, by keeping promises to yourself. Because every time you make a choice to follow through instead of giving in, you're building strength. You're teaching your mind that it doesn't run the show. Your vision does. Your goals do. Your future depends on it. Too many people live their lives ruled by how they feel. If they're tired, they quit. If they're discouraged, they stop. If it gets hard, they change course. But the people who reach their goals understand that feelings are temporary, but results are not. You don't need to feel motivated to take action. You need to act, and motivation will follow. Habits are what shape your life, not moods. When you wake up each day and make the choice to follow your plan, to stick to your values, to pursue your dream, you're stacking bricks. One brick at a time, you're building the foundation of your success. It's not dramatic. It's not always exciting, but it works. It's steady. It's powerful. It's the quiet force that turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Think about every person you admire, any leader, any entrepreneur, any athlete, any artist. Behind their public victories are thousands of private battles. They showed up when no one was cheering. They practiced when no one believed. They kept going when the reward felt far away. That's discipline. That's the work no one sees, but everyone feels when the results show up. And that's what you need to do. Build habits that push you forward. Create routines that support your growth. Make discipline your default setting, not just something you use in emergencies. Your life is shaped by what you do consistently, not by what you do occasionally. You can want something so badly, you can dream about it, pray for it, talk about it. But if you don't train yourself to show up and do the work daily, that dream will stay a dream. Your habits are either working for you or against you. And every day, whether you realize it or not, you're making a choice. Either you're building the life you want or you're delaying it. Discipline isn't glamorous. It doesn't always feel good, but it's the only way to turn your goals into reality. When you rely on how you feel, you leave your future up to chance. When you rely on disciplined action, you take control. You become the driver, not the passenger. You stop hoping and start doing. You stop wishing and start building. You stop being reactive and start becoming intentional. That's the power of discipline. That's why your future depends on your habits, not your feelings. Showing up daily builds mental resilience and consistency, which separates winners from dreamers. There is a clear difference between those who merely dream and those who make those dreams come true. And that difference lies in the ability to show up day after day, regardless of circumstances. When you commit to showing up every single day, you're not just practicing discipline, you're strengthening your mind. It's like building a muscle. The more you push through discomfort, the stronger you become. Mental resilience is not gifted to anyone. It's earned through repetition, through facing challenges and refusing to quit, through doing the work even when nobody's watching, clapping, or recognizing you. That daily grind, that daily showing up is what forms the core of your strength. You cannot become unshakable overnight. You have to be tested. And those tests come wrapped in silence, boredom, fatigue, setbacks, and failure. And still, you show up. Consistency builds trust in yourself. The more you follow through on your commitments, the more your mind begins to believe that you are reliable. That belief becomes power. You stop negotiating with yourself. Stop making excuses and instead begin moving with purpose. Dreams are easy. Everyone has dreams, but only a few are willing to pay the price, and that price is called daily effort. You will not feel inspired every day. Some mornings, you will doubt yourself. Some evenings, you will be exhausted. But every time you make the decision to stay consistent, to show up when it's hard, you're building armor on your mind. You're developing the ability to keep going when others fold. That is where greatness begins. In the quiet moments, when you choose action over excuses. It doesn't matter if progress feels slow. What matters is that you're moving. 1 inch, 1 step, 1 repetition at a time, you're separating yourself from those who simply dream. The winners understand that progress is rarely exciting. It's not viral. It's not flashy. It's often unseen, repetitive, and even boring. But that's the price. Success doesn't ask if you're in the mood. It demands commitment, and that commitment is proven in the way you show up, not once in a while, but every single day. You show up when you're tired. You show up when you're doubting yourself. You show up when it's raining, when it's hard, when no one else is showing up. Because the habit of showing up is what creates champions. Most people are defeated before they begin because they wait to feel ready. But you will rarely feel ready. Readiness is a myth. The mind will always seek comfort, always tell you to wait, to delay, to stop. But the people who achieve greatness have trained their minds to move despite discomfort. They know that by simply showing up, they win half the battle. The more you show up, the less resistance you feel. You start to create momentum, and momentum is a powerful force. It carries you through the valleys and over the mountains. It turns effort into habit and habit into lifestyle. The goal is not perfection. The goal is consistency. Perfection is fragile. It breaks under pressure. But consistency is resilient. It bends, adapts, and keeps going. When you show up daily, you create identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who does hard things, someone who keeps showing up when others quit. That identity shifts your entire life. Your standards rise. Your vision sharpens. Your confidence builds. You start to expect more from yourself, and that expectation is what elevates you above mediocrity. You cannot fake resilience. You cannot fake consistency. You have to earn them. And you earn them by doing what most won't. That's why winners and dreamers live in two different worlds. Dreamers talk, winners act. Dreamers hope, winners show up every day, no matter what. You won't always feel motivated, but you must always remain committed. Motivation is a beautiful thing when it shows up, but it's not something you can depend on. It's unpredictable, emotional, and temporary. It's the spark, not the fuel. Commitment, on the other hand, is the decision that you made long before the mood ever showed up. It's a vow you take with yourself. It's what keeps you moving when every part of your mind is telling you to stop. Real progress is born out of commitment, not from waiting for the right mood, not from waiting until you feel like it. Those who depend on motivation live a life of starts and stops. They go hard for a day, maybe even a week, and then disappear when it gets tough. But those who are committed, they keep showing up, rain or shine, tired or energized, high or low. They show up because they made a promise to themselves that quitting is not an option. People ask how others stay consistent, how they stay disciplined. The answer is they don't rely on feelings. They've trained themselves to move regardless of how they feel. That's what separates the successful from everyone else. You think the top athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the greatest minds feel motivated every day? Absolutely not. But they show up. They show up because they have a purpose bigger than their mood. They show up because they know that their future depends on their effort, not on their emotions. When you make the choice to commit to something, truly commit, you have to bury the idea of giving up. You have to understand that hard days will come. You will feel like stopping. You will feel like skipping a step, like backing off the pressure. But that's the exact moment where commitment takes over. That's the moment you lean in. You don't run from the struggle, you embrace it. You understand it's part of the process. There's a deep power in being committed. It changes how you carry yourself. It changes how others see you. When people know you're committed, they trust you. When you know you're committed, you begin to trust yourself. You become more grounded. You develop endurance, because now the question is no longer whether you're going to keep going. The only question is how. How will I adapt? How will I overcome this challenge? Commitment forces you to find answers instead of excuses. It forces you to grow instead of shrink. It makes you more creative, more focused, more relentless. Motivation might start the journey, but commitment is what finishes it. Commitment is showing up to the gym when your muscles ache. It's staying late to finish a project when no one's watching. It's waking up early when your body begs for sleep. It's the invisible work, the unglamorous effort, the choices you make behind closed doors. Every dream you've ever had is on the other side of consistency, and you will never reach it if you're waiting to feel like it. You have to be driven by your decision, not your feelings. Feelings come and go, but your purpose must remain. It must sit at the center of your mind every day you wake up. When you remain committed, you develop mental toughness. You stop second guessing. You simply execute day after day, step after step. Commitment will drag you across the finish line when motivation gave up halfway through. It will carry you through the storms, through the failures, through the setbacks. It gives you staying power. And in life, staying power is everything. Most people don't lose because they lack talent. They lose because they quit too soon, because they expected to be motivated forever. But motivation is a guest. Commitment is family. Commitment lives in you. It doesn't visit, it stays. Success doesn't come from occasional effort. It's a result of relentless, repeated action. Everyone wants to be successful. Everyone wants to win. But very few people are willing to do what it truly takes to get there. The truth is, dabbling in effort won't get you there. A little work here, a little progress there. It's not enough. You can't treat your goals like a hobby and expect professional level results. Success demands more. It demands consistency, discipline, and a level of commitment that outlasts your feelings. People who achieve real success don't show up just when they feel like it. They don't rely on short bursts of energy or random moments of inspiration. They put in the work over and over again, long after the excitement fades. They understand that greatness is not built in one day, it's built every day, through a process that's often hard, boring, and thankless. It's built through relentless action that compounds over time, even when results are not immediate. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is in the willingness to repeat the basics, to show up and execute without needing applause, to stay focused when distractions are calling. Success isn't about luck, and it's not about having the perfect plan. It's about execution. And execution only happens when you choose to act again and again, especially when it's inconvenient. Most people underestimate how much effort success actually requires. They start strong, full of enthusiasm, but they fizzle out when the grind sets in. The winners keep going. They understand that long-term success is a marathon, not a sprint. They keep taking steps, even small ones, every single day. Those steps may not look like much, but over time they build momentum. And that momentum is what carries you forward. Repetition turns effort into mastery, and mastery opens the doors that others can't unlock. You don't get to the top by doing something once. You get there by doing it 1,000 times. You write the book by writing 1 page a day. You build the business by serving 1 customer at a time. You get stronger by training consistently, not occasionally. It's that relentless repetition that sharpens your skills, deepens your resilience, and sets you apart. People want results, but often resist the routine that brings them. But the routine is everything. It's the structure that keeps you grounded. It's the daily actions that shape your future. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And if your system is based on inconsistent emotional effort, your results will be just as unstable. Success demands a high standard. It demands you to be committed to the process, even when it feels like nothing is working, because sometimes you'll give your best and see no reward yet. But that doesn't mean it's not working. Every ounce of effort you put in is adding up, stacking silently until one day it breaks through. That's the power of repeated action. It creates invisible progress that suddenly becomes visible when most people would have already given up. You have to trust the process enough to stay with it. Not for a week, not for a month, but for as long as it takes. Too many people stop just before their breakthrough because they're only interested in short-term effort. They want the reward without the repetition. But that's not how life works. If you're serious about winning, you need to be serious about the work. You need to be willing to do it again and again and again, even when it's boring, even when it's hard, because that's where the real change happens. In those quiet hours when you show up, put your head down, and get the job done. That's how success is built. Not in loud moments, but in consistent ones. It's not about being great once. It's about being good enough repeatedly until greatness becomes your normal. Your mind must be stronger than your excuses. Training it means taking action, even when it's hard. Every time you choose to act in spite of difficulty, you're building a stronger, more focused, more resilient version of yourself. Excuses are the easy way out. They're always available, always convincing, and always comfortable. But every excuse you make is a small betrayal to your future. It's a delay, a distraction, a denial of responsibility. The moment you let excuses run your life, you give away your power. You become a passenger, not the driver. That's why training your mind is the most important work you can do. You have to teach it not to fold under pressure, not to run when things get uncomfortable, not to default to the easy path. Because the easy path never leads to anything worth having. There's never a perfect time. There's never an ideal condition. Your schedule won't magically clear up. The obstacles won't disappear. Waiting for things to get easier is the first trap. And the mind loves that trap because it gives you permission to wait. But nothing changes while you wait. Change only begins when you take action, especially when it's difficult. That's what separates people who succeed from those who stay stuck. It's not intelligence, it's not luck, it's their ability to act again and again, regardless of circumstances. People who have trained their minds to ignore the excuses and move anyway are the ones who win. Every excuse sounds logical. I'm tired. I'm too busy. I'll do it tomorrow. But the truth is, these are lies the mind tells to protect you from discomfort. And the more you listen to those lies, the more control they gain. If you give them power once, they'll show up again tomorrow stronger. But if you fight through them, if you take action anyway, you weaken their grip. The mind is like a battlefield. Every day, you either winning that battle or losing it. And the only way to win is by doing what needs to be done, no matter how you feel. The strongest people aren't the ones who always feel ready. They're the ones who move forward anyway. They've developed the ability to override doubt, fear, and laziness. They act without permission from their emotions. That's what mental strength is. It's the refusal to be controlled by temporary feelings. It's making decisions based on values, not moods. It's showing up because you said you would, not because you feel like it. That kind of strength doesn't happen overnight. It's developed, trained, and tested through experience. Every time you push past an excuse, you reinforce the belief that you are in control. And the more you believe that, the stronger you become. Training your mind takes effort. And most people won't do it because it's uncomfortable. But comfort is the enemy of growth. You grow by doing hard things. You build confidence by doing what you said you would do. You earn self-respect by following through. That's how you win the mental game. Not with perfection, but with persistence. Not by avoiding struggle, but by choosing it and overcoming it. There will always be reasons to quit. Always. There will always be something in your life that could be used as an excuse to stop. But the real challenge is not the obstacle, it's your mindset. If your mind is weak, even small challenges will break you. If your mind is strong, even major setbacks can't stop you. That's why it's so important to train your mind every day. Feed it with discipline. Strengthen it with action. Don't allow your excuses to speak louder than your ambition. Make it a rule in your life that no matter how hard it gets, you will keep moving. Not because it's easy, not because it feels good, but because you've decided that your goals are more important than your excuses. The moment you choose to act in spite of resistance, you win. Not just over the situation, but over the part of you that wants to stay small. That's the real victory. That's how strong minds are made. Champions aren't made when they're comfortable. They're made when they push through discomfort. Growth never comes wrapped in comfort. It comes through resistance, struggle, and persistence in the face of adversity. Anyone can perform when conditions are ideal, when they're rested, when everything is going their way. But true champions are forged in the fire of challenge. They rise in the moments when things aren't going right, when their backs are against the wall and when no one is watching. Discomfort is the training ground for greatness. It's in the hours of doubt, the pain of discipline, and the grind of repetition that a strong character is developed. Every successful person you've ever heard of has one thing in common. They kept going when others stopped. They embraced the hard moment. They leaned into the struggle, not away from it. Comfort is seductive. It tells you you've done enough. It whispers that you can take it easy, that you can slow down, that it's okay to back off. But comfort never leads to transformation. It keeps you stuck, stagnant, average. And if you want to achieve more, you have to do more than what's comfortable. Champions know this. They understand that success requires sacrifice. It means getting up early, staying late, doing the things that others won't. It means ignoring distractions, saying no to temptation, and pushing your limits every single day. And it's in that space, right past the limit, where the magic happens. That's where the breakthroughs live. That's where new levels are found. The path to becoming great is paved with discomfort. You will be tested mentally, physically, and emotionally. You will face doubt, failure, fatigue, and fear. And yet you keep showing up. Not because it's easy, but because that struggle is shaping you. Every hard rep, every early morning, every difficult decision is refining who you are. You're learning to trust yourself. You're proving to your mind that you can do hard things. And that belief, once earned, becomes unstoppable. Champions are not immune to struggle. They are defined by it. They use pain as fuel. They take setbacks as lessons. They don't shrink from adversity. They grow through it. Most people run from discomfort. They avoid it at all costs. And that's why they never reach their potential. They play it safe. They never stretch, never truly challenge themselves. But if you're serious about becoming the best version of yourself, you have to flip the mindset. You have to start welcoming hard things. When something is hard, that's a sign it's worth doing. That's where the growth lives. That's where you discover who you really are. Champions develop the habit of pushing through even when everything inside of them wants to quit. They know that pressure creates diamonds. They understand that discomfort is a gift because it forces them to rise, to level up, to earn their success. You don't become excellent by accident. You don't achieve greatness by doing what's easy. You build strength through resistance, just like your muscles grow through weight. If you only ever do what's easy, you will only ever stay the same. But when you push through discomfort, you transform. You become tougher, sharper, more disciplined. You earn the confidence that only comes from hard work. Champions are not afraid of pain. They respect it because they know that every bit of struggle is preparing them for the next level. They don't chase comfort, they chase growth. They don't complain when it gets hard. They rise to the occasion. They stay calm in the chaos. They remain focused when things get tough. That is the mindset that separates the best from the rest. Discomfort is not your enemy, it is your mentor. It teaches you resilience. It builds mental toughness. It exposes your weaknesses so you can strengthen them. It challenges your excuses and forces you to elevate your standards. The moments when you feel like giving up are the exact moments when champions are born. Because anyone can perform when it's easy. But who are you when it's hard? Who are you when it hurts? That answer determines your destiny. Champions aren't created by avoiding pain. They are created by conquering it.